I'm Joe Krakowiak. I live at Grandview Avenue. I also run a website called westorangegrassroots.org. I hope you had a great holiday, and now it's back to work, obviously with a vengeance. I wanted to just talk about a few things tonight. One of them I wanted to talk about at the last meeting, but I couldn't. As I keep saying, I'm in Dapper Dans of Harmony, and we do caroling to the vets and to the seniors during the Christmas period. I couldn't be here. I wanted to just revisit the issue of the OSPAC sign that was approved by the council. The original resolution asked for $48,700 for a freestanding electric sign for OSPAC at Boland Avenue and Prospect Avenue. And then there was an additional request for another almost $9,400. It didn't really come up in the meeting, but I actually looked at the materials, and that $9,400 was to replace foam letters in the electric sign with polished gold titanium faces with 22-karat gold leaf.
Joe, it sounds extravagant, and I'm just going to, sorry to interrupt you right there, because you can rest assured that we all called Susan Borg to find out what that sign was all about. There was a grant available that they took advantage of, and that's what that sign was all about.
Yeah, and I would be curious if perhaps the taxpayers could understand where exactly that money came from, the $58,000. I understand it does come from the Essex County Open Space and Recreation Fund, but I'd be very curious to know if at the tail end, sort of at the source of the Nile, whether it's money that's been borrowed and has to be paid back by the state, which of course means taxpayer funds.
Our director was just here. We can find out from her more specifically
and I don't
how
mean
the grants work, and I'm sure that it was prior to all the arts funding being frozen by the state. We'll find out.
I also wanted to point out that in the December 15th bills that the township paid $4,000 to OSPAC for a truss. And I don't mean to single out OSPAC, which obviously is a great addition to our community, but I just think in this difficult time, is this sort of the way we want to manage taxpayer resources when things are really difficult? It sort of gets me to the issue of transparency. I just wonder how this issue might have been handled if people were able to know what was actually going on in that request. And when I know I talk about transparency a lot, on the subject, the township website still has the modified programming schedule for the television replay from the lengthy 5-hour council meeting in June, still up on the website. The website also has the incorrect schedule for when the replays run. Somebody who might want to stay up till 10 o'clock to watch the council replay last night, like I did, was sorry to find out it wasn't starting until 11. And I'll also note that last year's budget, the link to the budget, is gone from the home page. It's still up on the website, but it's much harder to find now. And I think all of these points are important, but it's secondary. Again, I just ask you to consider some way to improve the transparency for taxpayers by putting not only the agenda up on the website ahead of the meeting, but also basically every piece of paper that you guys are considering for the residents' business. I think we saw a glimmer of increased transparency during the debate over the Edison redevelopment, but I think we're back to business as usual. And I truly believe that it's in everyone's best interest if you provide as much transparency and as much information as possible on your efforts to manage the people's business, especially with this budget challenge. On the agenda tonight is a temporary budget. Last year's budget, as everybody knows, was $71.5 million, including $52 million in property taxes. We already know that roughly $3 million of that tax base has gone away in 2009. It's not going to be there in 2010, and there's likely to be more tax appeals. There's just one resolution tonight for a successful tax appeal for $235,000, more than that, to the Eagle Rock Co-op on Wilford Street. We got $780,000 last year from the state to offset property taxes, and I think with the new governor, I don't think there are too many people that are expecting that number to come back. I think we all agree that raising property taxes should be a last resort. The township and many of its residents are really suffering. I thought the council members' comments at the December 15th meeting reflected deep concern and realistic concern about our finances, and I think many citizens were glad to see the council vote down the dozens of proposed licenses and fees increases, so thank you for that. Finally, I just want to ask, the council approved a budget committee, which looks like another good move, but where does that stand? I think I've let the council know that I'm glad to serve, but I think the key is to get the best people we can on that budget committee and get going. I understand the tradition is to wait for the budget from the administration, but while we wait, we keep reading about what our neighboring municipalities are doing, making serious and admittedly painful spending cuts. And we're facing an ever-widening revenue shortfall here in West Orange, measured in the millions of dollars. And the longer we wait to manage this problem, the deeper the hole we're going to have to dig out of. So I just ask you to perhaps even just talk on camera about what you guys are doing to help fix this budget problem. And I don't mean anything I say to be critical, because quite literally we are all in this together. So I thank you and wish you well on your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Krakowiak today asked us a question in regards to the grant we got from Essex County Open Space Trust Fund and whether or not that is borrowed or bonded money. But I'm pretty sure the last time we got a grant, we worked a couple times with the county on a few acquisitions around town, that it's not borrowed money, that the Open Space Trust Fund for the county is funded annually by residents of the county, and that's the only money you use. So should we assume, and can we assume, that the grant we got from this fund was in fact already funded and not money the county borrowed to provide us the grant?
No, you're correct.
Okay.
The county does not borrow or bond for that. It's a special tax that you'll get through your property taxes. The percentage escapes me, but I think it's 15 cents per $100 of assessed value. That money comes to the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board, and the Advisory Board periodically puts out application processes for municipalities to apply for that funding, and it's a grant that the county provides to the township for recreation, open space programs. I think West Orange, like you said, West Orange had acquired a few properties, preserved open space. Last year was a unique program where the county awarded $225,000 to every municipality in the county as part of a stimulus program. If the municipalities had projects that were ready to go in parks and recreation, that was what the funding was for. I believe that the sign was part of that application. I'd have to look back specifically to see what else that money was used for.